Hi everyone. So we are 10th of August and I'm only just getting into the August question thread, the top 5 questions. There's been lots of cool things going on, lots of last minute things. I hosted a manifestation portal. You can check the announcements, you can get the replay of it. Even though it's around the 8th of the 8th Lionsgate portal, you really can manifest anytime. So you can use this manifestation tool, the visualizations, the grounding practices anytime. So if you want to grab that before it disappears, then just go for it. And then I had a past life regression session on Monday, of which I am aiming to document in a video that will go on a podcast. We'll see how it goes because it's like sharing a dream with someone and it's like, bleh, the words don't come out. So I am finally getting on to starting to answer the questions for August. And we've got the release course starting tomorrow. So super exciting. All right, what was this question? I have to go off memory because it disappears as soon as I write it. But it was asking about the sacral chakra and healing. So this is where when I'm answering these questions, I answer based on the information I have. And the theme that's been coming up in conversations that I've been having with a lot of people over the past week is talking about how everything happens in layers. So this is how my work has evolved, is just noticing the themes, noticing the patterns. I feel like I'm a bit of a pattern hunter. But everything has got many layers to it. So even sacral chakra healing has got so many layers to it. But yes, I do use the chakra system based in Ayurveda to help people understand what emotions are behind these chakras, these areas in the body, the disease states they have. So it's all about location, not about the disease. Now, not everyone will have disease or physical ailments. They can have mental, behavioral imbalances. They can have energetic stuff happening in their body and their external life as well. So these are all the layers that I'm potentially going to go through. And everybody's always interested in the healing, the end result, which is amazing. And there are definitely pathways to get there. But quite often when it comes to chakras, people focus on using vibrational sounds, colors, mantras, and all the positive energetic aspects of a chakra, and never go into the darker emotions that govern this space as well. So I'm all about going into the shadow work, the dark side of things, the negativity. There is nothing wrong with them. These qualities, they all exist in life. We cannot avoid them, we cannot bypass them. So this is what I'll share with you today about the sacral chakra. Now, one thing that I will say, what I hear from this is maybe someone or you assume that you have got sacral chakra stuff going on, and that may be the case. I would say that a lot of people, sometimes I sound like a broken record because I'm like, there's definitely sacral chakra stuff going on here. It is very common. However, sometimes we can get very fixated on what someone has told us or something that we've read and we start to label ourselves with that when actually it's not even the thing. So I often say that I go through like the layers in my mind and then the filing cabinet behind that. I always start off with, okay, well, is there something physical? Now, yes, I do believe that a lot of physical things are tied in with emotional. However, sometimes it really is just something that needs to have something physically done to it, and we don't even have to go down the emotional rabbit hole. So, I don't know how this sacral chakra imbalance is manifesting. I did talk about it on the Energetic Body Splits Masterclass, which is actually coming down today. So if you watch this, you can register for it. It's somewhere in the announcements, I believe. And you can watch it, but the link is going to stop working after today. Yeah, so I talked about the sacral chakra. I'll also let you know that I have a heart and sacral chakra podcast because there is a very strong link between the heart and the sacral chakra. But first of all, if we look at physically, we look at the location. So the primary area of the sacral chakra is in the hips and the pelvis. So anything that's affecting anything in the hip and pelvic area might be affected physically. So this can indicate that you've got some sacral chakra issues. So it can be the skin, it can be the fascia, the fat, the muscle, the bone, and then you've got the pelvic bowl with all of the reproductive organs, some of your bowel, male and female reproductive organs. Anything that's in this physical vicinity may be affected. I want to cover this before we go into the healing, because all the coaching on here will help everybody. Okay, so then there are, I go through, okay, well, what are the mental things? Mental I usually classify as anxiety, depression, fears and phobias. I wouldn't really put that in here with the sacral chakra. Behaviors though. Whenever someone has got something affecting their sacral chakra, whether it be an event or whatever, it will manifest behaviorally, usually as addictions, sex, drugs, alcohol, porn addiction. I'm actually trying to get a couple of people on the podcast to talk about what they've learned from their porn addiction. It can be controlling, really controlling in relationships. It can be controlling in your diet, your exercise, anorexia, bulimia, any sort of eating disorders, orthorexia, which is healthy eating, obsession. These are some of the manifestations. Now, usually when people tell me a little bit more of their history, I'm not necessarily saying do that on here, because we do dive into this in release or when I do one-to-one work with people. That's when I go, oh, and I see this is the link to this chakra. This is actually a dosha manifestation. This is just a physical thing. So there are physical ailments. There are secondary areas of the sacral chakra on the face and in the body, but I won't go into that, where you might be affected. There are the behavioral issues as well, mainly addiction and controlling behavior in relationships as well. And then the energetics is, well, how is this playing out? So the sacral chakra issues will usually play out with having issues with relationships in your life, because the sacral chakra governs relationships in your life. So these are anything from family to past relationships to current relationships, intimacy, children, pregnancy, miscarriage, abortions, fertility, children, workplace relationships, friendships, relationships with money, relationships with power. So I always say that there's a bit of an energetic aspect, and sacral chakra has to do with sex, money and power. And everyone's like, oh, I want that. It's like, well, you've got to like process all of this dark stuff first before you can connect in with the energetics. And how do we connect in with energetics and experience it? It's through the experience of doing the work. We can hear about how nice it is, but we cannot experience it for ourselves until we do the deeper work. So from my perspective, there are many ways that you can heal the sacral chakra, and I always encourage people to look for people that they simply resonate with. And it might be bits and pieces of information that you take from a variety of people about what they teach about the sacral chakra. But I'm just going to circle back to what I said earlier, is you've got to be careful of why is it that you believe you have a sacral chakra issue? Were you told this and you've hung on to it? Have you read something and it's like, this is the sacral chakra? When actually it may be many layers behind that, and it might not be rooted in the sacral chakra. So this is what I like to help people bring awareness to as well. But yeah, with anything that you're doing, I'm all about go into the mess. Don't bypass into all of the positive, nice things about an expression of a chakra. Yes, you can use sound. Yes, you can use colors. But honestly, if you're just using sound and colors, yes, sound has a vibration, and you're just wearing orange to try and heal your sacral chakra, I would say that there is a level of bypassing there. So it is going into what is all the dark stuff that a chakra manages and governs as well. What is some of the hard stuff that maybe I know I'm avoiding? And so my method is you process those emotions. And that's what I teach on my courses and I do in my one-to-one. I help people process their emotions. And actually, the 3-part podcast that I did recently, it's called History Interpreted. That's the first time I've been able to share a release process on the podcast. We actually did two, but one of them, the first one was too explicit to put on the podcast. So that's gone on my practitioner training portal. We actually found out it's not working, so we're going to get that working soon if you've been part of emotional body training. But yeah, you can have a listen to that. But I teach a release process, there's a structure to it, and there's many variations of the ways that you can use it. So processing emotions. And I'm speaking to many layers here, is that a lot of people say to me, oh yeah, I'm working on the emotions, I'm doing the emotional work, but I know that when people work with me in groups or one-to-one, they're like, oh God, I have not done the emotional work like this. But we cross paths, we discover new ways of doing things when the timing is right. But I always question emotional work and how deep are you going with the emotional work, especially if you're doing it on your own. We will only ever work on the stuff that we can see, and sometimes we misinterpret what we see. And that's why I think it's really valuable to have an unemotionally attached set of eyes on your physical, emotional, energetic, mental, behavioral body to get some external input if you are ready to receive it. So, how do you heal the sacral chakra? There are many ways. For me, it's really about intention. It's not about just using my method, but I do like to go into the dark stuff so that we can go into the light and the happy stuff that a chakra will govern. Because it's the polarity, it's the dualities, there's good, there's bad, there is light, there's dark, there's positive, there's negative. And it's not always about light, positive, happy days. Both of them exist, and a lot of us have got to learn to embrace the aspects of both of these. And then once you've done this, if you're really feeling called to wear colors like orange, do the mantras, because there are these sounds or words that you can use for each chakra, then you can use them. But usually you will be very aware if you are bypassing things and just trying to focus on the stuff that seems nice and easy. So with that, I will leave you with the sacral chakra. A good question, I really appreciate it. And to circle back to where I started, is that this work is in many, many layers. I try and communicate as much as I can on here. I will let you know that if you are ready for the deeper healing, then the release course is starting tomorrow. Should be in my pinned post. We've got a nice group coming together. The Facebook group is open, just with some logistics to go over, and then we get straight into it with tomorrow's live call with me, where I teach you about the release process. We're going to have some people introduce themselves on the Facebook group, and then dive in, start processing, start asking for support. This is sort of the next best way to work with me other than one-to-one, which is actually booked up until April now, next year in 2023. So release course might only be once next year. This is the second time I've run it this year. It's different every time. I love it. There are so many things going on in my world. As I said, there was the manifestation portal. Then we had the energetic body splits masterclass, which if you have registered for it, today is the last day you can watch it. The link is going to stop working, and that's going to turn into a paid masterclass. But if you want to work live together in a group, then the release group is the next best thing, and that starts tomorrow. And I invite you to come and join if you feel ready, if the content speaks to you and you're ready to trust and dive in. So I will be back throughout the month of August answering the rest of the questions that have popped up. Today I am aiming to record a podcast on my past life regression therapy session. It's the third one I've tried, and it's probably the most profound one that I've had. So I'll share that with you soon. See how it comes out of my mouth. All right, bye.